Yes, and welcome back to Tautoro District, everybody. It's still midsummer, but there has been plenty going on. I just wanted to show you a few things before we get into a bit of work. The first thing is there was a couple of updates to seasons during November. I didn't actually update my version until this week. And there's a couple of little nifty things that they have added, and I'll show you just two or three of them. The first thing is, if you go into the seasons menu, Alt S, it's got the chart, the usual harvest and planting chart. But over here, as you can see, you've got these bar graphs. What these do is give a historical indication of prices of the prices of each crop. So here we go, we've got wheat. Down here you can see that's autumn, so early, middle, end of autumn, or late autumn, and then summer. Sorry, that's not autumn, it's spring. Wake up, Mace! Spring, summer. Did you know spring came before summer? These are the things you learn when you farm. Funny that. Anyway, summer, autumn, then winter. As you can see, the middle of winter, really good price for wheat. It might have been a great demand or something like that. That sort of makes sense, I suppose. You know, obviously, it's the middle of winter. People are looking to buy a lot more wheat and barley for their bread or whatever they're making. And as you can see through here, some of these crops are a little bit different depending on the season. Sunflowers seems to peak during spring. Soybeans gets a big peak there in the middle of summer. You got corn, sort of similar to the middle of summer. You go through, and as you can see, there goes the prices. Now, one thing they did do with silage, actually, silage stays exactly the same, but they made it, in their words, a more realistic price. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. So there goes those graphs. So they're quite handy just to get a feel for when we should be selling our crops. Obviously, you want to get the maximum amount of return you can. And we've got wheat, barley, canola, soybeans, and corn. They're our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crops that we have planted. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether we might be able to get some decent prices for that. Now, the second thing they did, and this is really nifty, if I bring up this little thing here, the Wopster, what this does is basically for various things throughout your farm, it measures certain things. That wasn't very descriptive, was it? Let me just show you. So here I am in a field of crop. If I just hold down my left mouse button, and there we go. It gives me a whole lot of measurements. So if you just go through them here, that is where you are on the map. The second one is the elevation, so we're 260.2 meters above sea level. What type of crop is planted? And this is barley, obviously. You've then got the crop height, so, and growth progress, basically. So 33%. So it's in the first stage of growth. It needs to get up to 100% to be fully grown. This next little image here is the crop moisture, and this is used to determine if you can harvest a crop. Basically, the higher moisture, the lower quality. So we'll be looking at that. And this here is a fertilization. That's not a word really, I don't think, but the fertilizing level. So it's 100%. As you know, we fertilized 3 times on the field, so it's fully fertilized, so that matches. And that final one is ground wetness, which is another thing they added into the mod. That determines basically the traction that your vehicles get. So 10%, not overly wet, obviously. The other thing you can do is if you point it in between onto the soil, this should... No, I don't know what I'm talking about. Apparently if you put it into soil only, it gives you a reading on soil. Let's see if we can find that. No. Okay. Maybe I'm doing that wrong. Let's go in the mud. Oh, hold on. Let's go over here. This is just... Here we go. That just gives you the fertilizing and stuff like that. So I have no idea what I'm doing. That's pretty standard. So that's cool. So that's a couple of things that they added with the season, in the updates to the seasons mod. There were 2 updates during November. They also did a whole lot of fixes and just added a few other things, but those are the 2 main things that caught my eye. Now, one thing that we want to do is, if we bring up our, not that map, let's bring up this map. Boom, boom, boom. As you can see over here down at the Tautoro Mill, we've got a flashing symbol, which means they have a great demand. And what have they got a great demand for? It is for barley. And I was thinking, when that popped up earlier, I think it popped up during our last game. I was like, well, why would I worry about that? I don't have any barley. But I do. Remember, I've got some already in the silos from when you start the game. It's not a heck of a lot, but I thought, why not sell it anyway? to make a little bit of money. Why not? Keeps us busy. So we'll just rock on over into this garage here and we'll grab, is this a Case IH? No. Yes, it is. It is. I sort of knew what I was doing there for a second. Let's start this puppy up. And let's go and grab our tipper. Now, this will be the first time that we have actually used the silos here on Tautoro District. Being seasons, we haven't harvested any crops whatsoever. Oh, nice. And so, this will be the first income that we've actually, well, we haven't generated it really. It was already there. Oh, Mace, what are you doing, mate? Come on, get your acting. Oh. Absolute professionalism, as always, on the farm. Let's just try that again, folks. Come on, give me the link. It does. Right. So what we'll probably actually look to do, guys, is when we get into the harvest of our fields that we've already planted, we're probably going to go and get a much bigger tipper, because this one is not going to last long. We'll have to go backwards and forwards 1,000 times. So what we do here, guys, let's just go under here until start filling. Right. Hold on, start filling. Left will help. Okay, so we'll select our barley, let that fill. One little glitch on this map, as you can see, is the pipe doesn't come around. That's okay though, not a problem. And we've filled up basically nothing. Oh well, this is the best price we're going to get for barley, so even though we've only got a very small amount, it is worth doing a quick little trip. It will probably add a couple of $1,000s into our bank account, and as you can see, we're right down to $43,000. That's just with obviously purchasing all the equipment that we've purchased, and the fact that we're not really producing any income whatsoever. So the map's ticking along quite nicely. The animals, I've been able to keep them up to full productivity. There's a few tricky little things that I've been dealing with when it comes to looking into the future, particularly around feeding the animals, and I'll show you what I mean by that very, very soon. But we'll rock on up here into the sawmill and we'll just dump off this barley. Like I say, with only 4,474, I think, what was the price? I can't remember. Was it 600? If so, it's only going to be about 2.5, 3 grand. Or was it 900? I can't remember. Anyway, we'll rock on up here into the sawmill. We'll dump off. We will dump. There we go. Third time lucky. Out it goes. 2,635. I'll just kill that engine right there. And what we will do is, this is a good spot to get out. We are back at our dairy farm. And so, what I've been doing is, I noticed something, which is it's not unusual to Seasons mod, but it's certainly unusual when you're used to using the vanilla game, and that's this. You may remember that I went and grabbed a whole lot of grass from over at the sheep yard and brought it back here for the cows, and I've just been keeping it undercover here, thinking that will be all good. These are usually 4,000 litres, these bales, but look at that, just 502 litres. So I went back and reread the instructions, and yes, it's very clear that over time grass bales actually erode. Even if you've got them undercover, they erode. And so obviously that's no good. You know, eventually that bale, after probably another day or so, that will be completely gone. So I've been feeding all my bales into the cow feeding trough and all that sort of stuff. Been doing that. So man, spit it out, Mace. Come on, get my act together. Jeez, I'm not in very good form. Anyway, so I started thinking. I was like, well, how are we going to get around that? Because I need grass for the cows to be able to get 100% productivity, and there's a bit of a learning curve around this, to be fair. And as we look in the field right here, you can see that I've gone and mowed and windrowed all this grass here. I'm going to turn that into silage, take it up to the biogas plant. I'm going to get to my point that I was making before, by the way, guys. In here, this is hay. So, oh yeah, you can use your instrument for this too. So if I go, boom, I can hold this down, and there we go, hay, 4,000 litres. I knew that was hay, and it was 4,000 litres, funnily enough. But that's what that little instrument can do. Now, so, back to my original point. So I was thinking, man, I'm going to need to... I can't keep grass bales even under cover because they'll just erode. So I had this bright idea. I was like, I know what I'll do. I'll wrap them because that will protect them from the elements. So I've gone ahead and let's get out an instrument. Why not? We know what this is. Grass, 4,000 litres. So I produced about 30. Oh, we don't need that chainsaw. That's not going to work for us. So as you can see through this field, I didn't do this entire field. I did the entire next field though, which is where we're going. I went in here and created a whole lot of bales and thought, let me hire the wrapping machine. So I'll wrap these puppies up, keep them under cover, and then during winter, I can just throw them to the cows and it won't be a problem at all. Now, that was really a silly idea. In retrospect, it would be fair to say, because I completely forgot at the time that if you wrap bales, they become silage. And in the Seasons mod, it actually takes a little while for them to become silage. A lot longer than they do in the game. And then I thought, oh, well, that's fine. I'm going to wrap some anyway. So that's what I thought I'd do. Just finish off the episode by wrapping a few bales because I can actually go ahead and sell them if I want to. The only thing I found out about this, so this is a bit of a learning thing. I could have done my research, but hey, screw it. Let's just find out as we go. The thing is, if you go and sell these up at the biogas plant when they're wrapped bales, they'll only sell at the bale price, as opposed to when you put, actually put the just the normal chaff into the silo pit up there and compact it down, then sell it as silage. You get 500 per 100 litres, 1,000 litres I mean. So you don't get the end answer is what I'm trying to say is you don't get nowhere near as much with grass bales. Grass silage bales. Anyway, so what I thought I'd do though is we might as well wrap them up. And I don't think I'll be selling them unless I'm desperate for income. I think you only get about $600 per bale, which works out to be, or it might be 800, something like that. It works out to like a couple of $100 at the most per 1,000 litres, and that just doesn't work for me. It's not a good enough return. So what I'll do is I'll wrap all these bales up, and then I'll go and store them in my shed, and I can use that as silage for the cows, for their feed, and makes it nice and easy to grab them. And then what I might do is just sell that other silage that's in the pit beside the shed over in that direction. I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyway, I'll just wrap a couple of these just so you can see what's going on, then I'll complete the rest offline. But I don't know if you guys have used this machine before, but it's pretty straightforward. All you do is open it up as I showed you, and then you just rock on up. It grabs the bale, and look at this nifty little thing here. Wraps it up. I need one of these for my Christmas presents. This would be ideal. Look at that. Take you 3 weeks to open the bloody thing. It uses quite a bit of foil, doesn't it? And look at that, cuts it off, and then all you simply do is unload it and boom fa. So what we do here is we go boom, and we come across here, and there you go, ladies and gentlemen, a nicely wrapped bale. I wonder if I get my little doodah out. Let's see what it will say. Oh, see, here we go. So this is cool. So grass 4,000 litres, but what this actually measures is the fermentation that's occurring at this stage. And at the moment, it's not even 1%, it's 0.02, and it still has 24 hours to go, which suggests pretty clearly that it's 24 hours for silage to ferment in bales. Oh, Mace, what are you doing, mate? So if you use this machine just out of, without Seasons mod, here we go, look at that, that is so cool. Without Seasons mod enabled, basically the grass would instantly turn into silage. But on this particular mod, it takes 24 hours, so something a little bit different. Look at that, cut that off, let's get rid of them. And there we go. So ladies and gentlemen, plenty happening on the farm. This was an update. I was actually going to wait until the end of summer to do my next update, but because quite a few things going on, I thought I'd do that. Grab it, grab it, grab it. Oh, look, see, here you go. You've got to be a bit tricky here, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to get it nice, and there we go. Anyway, this is the last one that I'll wrap up, and then we'll call it an episode. But yeah, I thought plenty going on in the farm, ticking along quite nicely. I'm keeping my head above water from an income point of view, but I will be looking forward to those crops growing and putting a bit of money in the bank. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say huge thanks very much for watching. Make sure you smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new. It costs nothing at all, except a little bit of self-respect. And until next time, everybody, take it easy.